Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Varsity Views Inside the Huddle Edition, brought to you by Keon Sports. I'm your host, Darien, and I'm Dolo today. I'm solo Dolo today. My man Jax has something else to attend to, but we're going to keep the party rocking. Today, we're going to be getting into the top 3 games of the week. Normally, it's 5, but this week was so crazy, it needs to be talked about that we only got 3 games today. So let's get right into them. Starting off with game number 3, we had Austin Fitch Falcons versus the San Ignatian Wildcats. Now, I'm not going to lie. This game was pretty tough, and I'm going to break it down for you guys today. In the very first quarter, there was no score. Didn't nobody do anything because the defense in the beginning of this game was top tier. Coming into the second quarter, though, quarterback Deshaun Vaughn found Brady Evans for an 11-yard touchdown, which gave them the lead early, 7-0, to start the second quarter. Now, nobody else scored after this. This will be the end of the second quarter. So, honestly, the Falcons will go up on Ignatius 7-0 to start the half. Coming out into the third quarter, senior defensive back pass, Max, and he will return it for 55 yards, giving his team, Ignatius, a score, and they're on the board as they tie the game 7-7. Now, later in this third quarter still, junior tailback Grant Washington would score a 3-yard touchdown for Ignatius as he would give them the lead 14-7. Now, clearly, the tables have turned, and the Falcons need to turn it around if they don't want to, get too far back in this game because Ignatius is no team to play with. They're extremely tough and disciplined, and if you get behind them, it is very hard to get the lead back. But the Falcons would tie the game at 14 on a 2-yard touchdown from freshman DeAndre Richard. Now, we're going into the fourth quarter tied at 14 apiece. Now, when you go in tied, especially against a team like Ignatius, you just have to be the better team for one quarter. Coming into the fourth quarter, Deshaun Vaughn, the quarterback, went for an 8-yard touchdown, giving the Falcons a 21-14 lead. But Ignatius would respond for a 6-yard touchdown from Grant Washington, tying the game at 21. All right, you guys. This was in the fourth quarter. And now we're going to go to overtime. Nobody has scored in this very first overtime right now. So, you know what happens when you don't go in first? You go to the second. Now, nobody is able to really get the lid off to try to score and win this game. But the Falcons were able to push the ball all the way up to the 23-yard line, and they brought in their kicker, Anthony Ruggles, who would kick a 23-yard field goal for the win, giving the Falcons a 24-21 lead and win over San Ignatius. Player of the game would definitely go to Anthony Ruggles as he would hit the game-winning field goal. So you know he's player of the game today. If you guys want to read this story yourself, make sure you guys go to Keon Sports and go look up the author Tony Bogan. My man has been writing some great stories. He's been on here every week. So make sure y'all go show some love and let him know that we sent today. Coming into game number 2, we got a pretty big game, high-scoring game from Park Hill Trojans versus the Blue Springs South Panthers. Now, you guys are going to hear me talk about a lot of scoring. Like I'm talking about back-to-back scoring. So let's get into it. First quarter, the Trojans and the Panthers get it going. As the score is 7-6, as the Trojans would be up because the Panthers were unable to get their field goal attempt to go. The Panthers would then score in the second quarter, and they would lead 13-7. The Trojans would then fire back with a touchdown of their own, going up 14-13. But once again, the Panthers come back and score a 24-yard touchdown, going up 20-14. Now, we are still going back and forth, and we are nearing the end of the second quarter already. And then the Trojans will come back and score again, making the score 21-20, and it's only just halftime. Now, both of these teams are either extremely great on offense or we out here playing no defense because they are literally going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This will continuously happen going into the third quarter as the Panthers will come out hot out of halftime and score another touchdown, giving them a 27-21 lead already. And now after that, coming right back, the Trojans on a 1-yard touchdown, going up 28-27. And here we come back as the Trojans will score again, making it 35-27. This is completely like a shootout. I don't know what you want to call it, but these teams they're going to blow for blow. Either these coaches got some really great plays coming out of these huddles, and these kids is executing like some is shaking. Now, the Trojans will go back-to-back and score and go up 35-27 now. Now, the Panthers are in trouble. In order for the Panthers to absolutely tie this game, because we're already heading into the fourth quarter, so for them to absolutely tie this game, they'd have to not only score, but also have to go for the two-point conversion. The Panthers would score, the two-point conversion would be no good, and the Trojans would win this game 35-33. Make sure you guys go to KeonSports.com, look up the author, Connor Cottonmeyer, if you guys want to read up about how these teams were going back and forth from start to finish of the game. Now, coming in at game number 1, it's probably, honestly, the best game of the week and the highlight of the week, which was Menor versus Medina. Now, me personally, I had watched this game last year. I've seen the two great quarterbacks in Dan Stoddard and Scotty Fox go back and forth head-to-head in the actual game last year. And honestly, it was the best football game I had seen all year round. Now, we both know that these teams are extremely, extremely talented, well-coached, and they got some talented kids on their squad. So let's get into the game. We start off with a 72-yard touchdown from Dan Stoddard, who found Jack Wojak in the beginning of the game, giving Medina a 7-0 lead, just like that, off rip. We just love to see instant action from two teams like this. And then once again, the Medina Bees would go up 14-0 as Dan Stoddard would find Austin Knowles for a 9-yard touchdown. Now, Medina going up early on Menor, I believe this is like pretty similar to what happened last year. Like, Medina started off hot real early. But that would mean nothing, as Menor's Scotty Barnes, the QB himself, will call his own number and take a 2-yard touchdown and, putting his team on the board. It's 14-7. Medina is still up, but we're all good. Until Scotty Fox would throw an interception and it would be turned 16 yards. And Medina would take it to the house for a TD, going up 21-7. Medina's probably feeling really good right now as they have a very solid lead, 21-7 on Menor. Now, I wouldn't count them out because I have seen Scotty Fox and the Cardinals do some crazy things. And let me tell you, that's exactly what they did, as Fox would find himself scoring another touchdown on his own, another rushing touchdown for himself, cutting the lead in half, making it 21-14. Medina would be up. Medina would then turn the ball over, and Menor would capitalize it. As I've said his name twice already, Scotty Fox would score again, would score another touchdown himself, tying the game 21-21. Now, it is halftime now, and Medina has just blew their 21-7 lead, and it's tied going in. Now, coming out of the second half, you just want to be a little bit more disciplined, and, the best team wins, but this is a rival. This is what you want to see. Both teams like this go hit for hit, blow for blow. Coming out of the third quarter, Menor would have an 8-play drive up to 74 yards, leading to a 14-yard touchdown. This will give Menor the lead 28-21. Medina would also do the exact same thing as they would put together a 75-yard drive as Dan Stoddard found Jack Wojak for a 26-yard touchdown, tying the game at 28. Ooh, I like the way this is going. I love the way Scotty Fox and Dan Stoddard are putting the teams on their back, finding their receivers, and doing everything themselves. I love it. I love it. I love it. As the game is tied at 28, Medina would once again have a 3-yard touchdown from Knowles, giving his team a 35-28 Medina lead. And that would be the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, Jack Wojak would score a touchdown, going up 41-28 as their point after would be no good. Now, Medina is currently up 41-28. It's all up for Scotty Barnes to make some magic happen for him and his team. Scotty Barnes would leave the game after a nasty hit, and it would put him out for the remainder of the game in this fourth quarter with just 9 minutes to go. So who do you do? What do you do? What do you do when this happens? You put in the backup, you bring in Ben Pierce, who will come in and go straight to work. I'm talking as soon as he came in, Ben Pierce would get a 5-yard touchdown and once again cut that lead in half, as the score would be 41-35, as Medina still leads. Medina would not be able to complete their following drive, and this would give more time for Ben Pierce to work with, as he would throw a 55-yard touchdown with just a minute and 23 to go in the fourth quarter, giving Menor a 42-41 lead with just barely over a minute to go in the game. Medina would not be able to convert. Menor would win this game 42-41. Now, I don't know what you do with that. Your star quarterback goes out, you bring in your backup, and he comes in like he's been doing this forever. Came in the game locked in, focused, and won this game for his team. He finished off the work that Scotty did in the beginning, and he handled business when he came in. Menor Cardinals would win, beat the Medina Bees 42-41. Player of the game would be Scotty Fox, as he did go 12 for 28 for 174 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 18 carries. Honorary player of the game, of course, would have to be Ben Pierce, as he came in down 41-28 and put the team on his back and helped finish the game off. Make sure you guys go to KeonSports.com. Go ahead and look up the author, Devin Lowe, as he made a great article on this game. Tap in at KeonSports.com. Look up for that author for sure. Appreciate you guys tuning in to this week's episode of Varsity Views Inside the Huddle edition. I've been your host, Darien. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.